Hello, everyone. My name is Cersei Gonzalez. I'm a digital learning specialist, and we're going to go ahead and get started. If you have any questions in the chat, my fellow DLS, Stephanie Stevens, hello, Stephanie, is also here, and she can help answer your questions in the chat. Before we get started, I want to make sure everyone's aware that we are recording this meeting. Also, this is for 2nd through 5th grade teachers who are going to be using Typing Club on the Chromebooks. So if you are a pre-K through 1st grade teacher, you don't need this training. And it is the same session as we had yesterday. So if you attended yesterday's session, this is just a repeat. You don't need to be here. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. I will share a link to the presentation in the chat, but I'm also going to be showing you how to get to that presentation at a later date. So give me 1 second, I'll share the presentation. Okay, I just posted the link in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so if you are new to our district, or if you are just here for a Typing Club refresher, we just want to give a little bit of an introduction to Typing Club. So essentially, Typing Club is going to be the program that we are using. It is purchased by the district for all 2nd through 5th graders, and they all have accounts that are synced through Clever. And so if you are a homeroom teacher, when you sign into Typing Club as a teacher, you're going to see your homeroom kids. It is basically what we're using as our curriculum that's supported by the admin in our district to have students practice their typing skills. It is a 21st century skill. We are going to want to prepare kiddos before they start going to middle school and high school with these very valuable skills. And unfortunately, it starts in elementary school. So we've got to try to make some time for them to practice and to learn. So the way we've designed our curriculum is that we've got basically one slide deck that a teacher will use, and we've got different ones for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and for 5th. And basically you do a couple slides a day, and then you give the students practice time. The students will log into Typing Club, and then we would like to have a goal of 20 minutes a day, consecutive for a few consecutive days, depending on your grade level. But we know that you guys are already scrunched for time. It is a very difficult task to ask of you guys. So we just ask, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes a day, whatever you can squeeze in, we just want it to be a little bit of a consistent practice so that kids can make sure they're getting the right form. And I'm going to go over that in just a little bit. But essentially, you just have one slideshow that you go through for a few days out of this semester, and then the kids practice. Each grade level has a set of goals, which I'll go over in a little bit. And at the end of the set lessons that we've got a typing test. So the kiddos have a goal in different grade levels, and when they take their Typing Club test, it measures their accuracy percentage and their words per minute. So at the end of those sessions, we are asking the teachers to submit their results, only because we like to collect data on how students are doing as regarding their typing skills, deciding, are these goals appropriate for these grade levels? Can we, up the ante next year to make sure that we're keeping up with what students are really using in the classroom. So we're going to discuss a little bit about what the lessons look like and the goals in just a little bit, but that's pretty much an overview. So on this slide, you're going to see here that depending on which grade level you teach, you have a different goal. 2nd grade is 10 words per minute. And then the other goals have actually changed this year. So we've kind of increased the words per minute that we're hoping kids get to. The accuracy has stayed the same, 80%. Now, although these are the goals for students to get on that end of unit typing test, they can still technically pass without meeting this goal. So if they get just a fewer words per minute than the goal, they're still able to pass for the most part. And essentially, we kind of designed it to where if they just meet the goal for last year, so if they're a 4th grader, but they got the 15 words per minute, like the goals in 3rd grade, then they pass. So a little trick to know if they're going to be able to pass or not. But What's great about Typing Club is it's not a one and done kind of thing. We want students to continue logging in, continue practicing. They can do it at home after they finish another assignment, and they just can get better and better. So they can even retake that test until they meet their goal. As far as what are the expectations, basically we just are hoping that every student is exposed to the lesson with the proper techniques and is allowed some practice time. We are just suggesting the 20 minutes per day. Again, if you can only get 5 minutes this day because just things were crazy, that's perfectly fine. We just want an attempt to get some consistency throughout this unit. As well as getting that test in at the end of the unit. Now, the tests are only going to be available in late October for the second graders, and then in early November for third through fifth. The dates will be later in the slide. So up until then, if your students are ahead of the game and they've been practicing and you've already gone over some of the lessons, they can just continue practicing until those dates where they can take their tests and they become available. And essentially, the reason this isn't just homework that they could do at home is because we want kids to be monitored as they're practicing the fingering position and using the home row and not pecking really quickly. So that's why we know the teachers, you guys know really great classroom management strategies. You guys are able to see and help them use the correct form while they're typing. We've linked this form in several places. It's in the emails that we've been sending, it's in the curriculum, and I'll show you how to get there. But it's also linked here in this form when you're going to submit your data at the end of the unit. So, and just a preview of what those days look like, those units look like. If you're in second grade, we're just going to ask for 10 consecutive days of lessons and practice with the test at the end. If you're in third and fourth, you are doing 22 days worth of lessons with the test on the 20th day. And if you're in fifth grade, since students, if without the pandemic, they should have been doing Typing Club in the previous years, they're actually starting their unit off with the placement test. If the student passes the placement test, they're going to a different course called Typing Jungle, where they can practice the skills that they are needing still. And if they don't meet that goal yet, that's perfectly fine. They're just going to do the regular unit that we designed with those 22 days of lessons. So fifth grade's a little bit different, and we'll go over that in just a little bit. Again, if you have any questions while I'm presenting, type in your question in the chat and Stephanie can answer. All right, so we do have a window for this timed assessment for the students to finish. We would like for all teachers, all students to have taken their Typing Club test by December 17th. Although we know there are definitely situations where you may not be able to get those lessons done in time and the test taken by that date. That is totally fine. You just, all that we ask is that you loop in your DLS and you let us know by when. And in previous years, when we've always done this, there were like maybe 1 or 2 campuses that couldn't do it until January, and they just did it first thing when they got back. And that's okay. The reason we would like it for it to be done this semester, though, is because teachers are literally like, wow, after Typing Club, my students were so much better at, just using their Chromebook in general and getting things done quickly. So it's really just a way to help you have the kids learn the skills as soon as possible and apply it for the rest of the semester. The one thing that we do apologize is because of some funding issues that were out of our control, we couldn't have Typing Club even available for you all in August. That's definitely a goal for us for next year. So you guys can have it first day of school. Hey, we're working on our routines. Let's practice using Typing Club. And that's one of our skills on the Chromebook. So anyways, all that to say, we hope you can get these typing tests done by the 17th and your data submitted by the end of the semester. All right, so this is just a great little quote that every teacher is a teacher of keyboarding. So it's not really just a writing skill or a reading skill or anything like that. We really do want teachers to kind of be keeping an eye out and monitoring behaviors, that students are using the correct posture, that they're using home row. We just wanted them to avoid that pecking behavior that we see a lot of kiddos doing. And then we just encourage them to focus on meeting their goal. Typing Club has a great badging system and certificates that they can earn, so it's a great way to motivate students. All right, so the next few slides, I'm just going to show you quickly how to get to the keyboarding curriculum. Essentially, you as the teacher can log into Canvas. You're going to open up the regular curriculum course, and then you're going to click on the specials button. Under specials, you're going to see keyboarding. And then I'm just going to open it up here just so that you guys can see me do it live. So I'm in our curriculum and instruction course. I click on specials. And when I click on keyboarding, a Google Doc is going to open. And this is kind of an overview of our district curriculum. So we have a little blurb here about how the pandemic totally shook things up in all aspects, including keyboarding and typing club. If you've been here for several years, you know that we've always done typing club every year. We give out badges to classes and campuses get badges. I mean, it's a really big deal, and teachers really liked it, and it really helps our students. With the pandemic, they haven't been home. We didn't implement it really last year. A few veteran teachers may have used it, but we really didn't enforce any kind of goal except that you introduce typing club to them. So this year, we're really hoping to get back on track. So for those of you who are new, this is something we've previously done. We just are trying to reel everybody back in. So the link to the presentation slide that I'm going over today is this right here, this overview of Typing Club. That's the link for this presentation, so you can access that at any time. And then we do have UBDs where you have vocabulary and goals and all kinds of really detailed curriculum information linked right here. But really, the most important links that you need to know about are these links right here in this table. So if you are a second grade teacher, you're going to want to save or bookmark this link. And they're just slide deck, Google slide decks. If you're a third through fourth grade teacher, you're going to want to bookmark this one. And if you're a fifth grade teacher, you're going to want to bookmark this one. The only thing that's different for fifth graders, if this is your first time and you're not really sure about the placement test, there's some directions down here for you too, so that you can use this as a guide. So that is where you can find your curriculum, and you can use those to go over with your students. And on the next slides of my slide deck, it's just going to explain what the unit looks like for each grade level. For second grade, it's 10 days of lessons. Hopefully, we have a goal of 20 minutes per day, but like I said, get as much of it as you can. And then it's going to end with the district typing test. Their goal is 10 words per minute with 80% accuracy. And then we also link that lesson plan here at the bottom. For third through fourth grade, it's 22 days of consecutive lessons with a goal of 20 minutes a day. Their goals have changed. Third grade is now 15 words per minute and fourth grade is 18 words per minute. So again, they can keep repeating the lessons as needed until they reach those 5-star ratings and get that words per minute goal. For fifth grade, we kind of explain here that they have 2 courses assigned to them, and when they sign a typing club, I have screenshots later. But basically, they're going to start in the course called Typing Jungle. They take their placement test. If they reach the goal of 20 words per minute with 80% accuracy, they can continue in that course and just randomly do the lessons as they want. If they don't meet that goal, then they go back to keyboarding 2, and that's where they continue the lessons with you. When you are looking at, let's say this is a 5th grader named John Smith. He has attempted the placement test several times. At some point, he did meet the goal, and so he will be able to be placed in Typing Jungle at a lesson that he has achieved on. So he can continue in Typing Jungle because he met that goal. All right, so for students, if you are new to our district, you may recall that most of our student digital resources are found on the campus website. They can click on the little home button, it takes them to the school, they click on digital resources, and right here in that site is Typing Club. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a campus website just as an example, and I'm gonna use Carrollton. So when they are here, digital resources, they just sign all the way down here and they click here. Now, because these are Chromebook using students, they're gonna be logged in already, so it should automatically log them in. It is synced through Clever, so if you have a brand new student, they may not have access until a couple of days pass when Teams has synced that information with Clever. Now notice there is a button called Typing Club Junior. The reason we have that there is because our little ones who are using iPads can also use Typing Club, but because they don't have accounts, it does not save any of their information. So they can go in and practice. It's great for like letter recognition and other skills that way, but it doesn't save any of their progress. So they would have to just keep going and starting over. So they can use it as a fun activity in the meantime. Okay, so let me go back to my presentation, maybe. Awesome. Okay, So that is how students log in, and it's their CFE credentials. All right, so let's say we've got a 2nd through 4th grader who logs into Typing Club. They're going to see the course available to them. And for 2nd graders, it will say Keyboarding 1. For 3rd and 4th graders, it will say Keyboarding 2. And all they have to do is click the Start button. And then it's going to open up a new dashboard with like a series of lessons. And the lessons are locked until they meet the previous like precursor lesson that they have to take. So, and then it basically just takes them through it. So as long as you're working, if you give them the 10 or 15 minutes to work, they'll get as far as they can. For 5th graders, it's a little bit different. By the way, your dashboard, the student's dashboard could look list view or grid view. So grid view looks like this, like big squares. List view looks like this. So just an FYI. For 5th graders, again, you're going to have 2 courses, Typing Jungle and Keyboarding 2. They're going to start in Typing Jungle. They're going to take their placement test. Once they go in, they're going to get a little notification here on the right-hand side that says, take placement test. If they don't see it, they can click on that little circle with the check, and that'll prompt them to start. After that, you are going to give them time to take their test. And again, if they meet that goal of 20 words per minute, they'll be able to stay in Typing Jungle and just continue on the lessons that they need. Or if they don't pass their goal, continue the lessons with the curriculum with Keyboarding 2. All right, so on the student menu, they have a dashboard with some menu options at the top. They can click on their stats and see kind of the stats that they have depending on their words per minute, which finger is the best at typing. It's really cool. I'm actually going to take a moment to sign in as a student. So if you don't mind, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to keep picking on my campus of Carrollton Elementary. So let's just click on the student here, and I'm going to log in as the student. All right, so I am Kelly right now, and notice she's got that grid view, so she's got the course right here. And if you click on stats, when Kelly logs in and does an activity, they're going to record how many minutes you were here, how many failed attempts you had at something, all kinds of stats, even down to their progress. So maybe, and even how many days they've been practicing. So you have all kinds of information as a teacher and data points to see how your class is doing with Typing Club and their lessons. Again, I mentioned this earlier, but Typing Club does give out badges. So kiddos, the more they log in and practice their Typing Club, they can earn some of these badges. And it's just a nice little fun incentive way for them to stay on track and practice using their skills. If you click on lesson plans, I'll go over this at the end, but you can actually assign additional lessons for kids. For example, they can work on capital letters, they can work on the punctuation. So they will see those different lesson plans here for them. We want students to continue using the English language for the settings. That way all the teachers can make sure to be able to help them if they change their language settings. If you have bilingual students, when the kiddos are actually taking a lesson, and I'm just going to go ahead and start the lesson for one of these students. I apologize for that loud noise. So what it looks like for the kiddos is this. It kind of mimics what the home row looks like, where their fingers should be placed. So what you're going to be doing as a teacher is kind of walking around, monitoring, and making sure that they're using the right posture, the right fingering positions, and then they can just work through as they go. Now notice, I don't know if you guys can hear this sound or not, but there are some sounds that you can turn off. If you look up here at the menu, there is a little sound icon. You can turn the keyboard sound off, and that way you don't hear a bunch of typewriter sounds all over your classroom. Or you can have the kids mute their Chromebooks. It also gives them a chance to hear the keys that they're pressing. That might bother some if they're going too fast. It'll kind of lag a little bit. But if I was going to mention, if you have bilingual kiddos, there is this keyboard option here where they can change which keyboard they have. We want to make sure that they keep this on United States. We don't want them to change to a different country's keyboard because their key placements are different than ours. So make sure it always says United States. And if you're wondering, yes, there are Typing Club lessons in Spanish, so they can practice creating the Spanish characters. And then also under this keyboard menu option, they can also change what their keyboard looks like. So if you see them with like bubbly icons or things like that, that's where they went to change it. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue practicing finishing this lesson as if I was the student. So if they make an error, you see this little red icon. And in this case, I'm just going to continue. And it'll track the data. So I'm just going to finish here. So if I go back home, notice the 2 lessons that I've completed have this little check mark. And if I go back to stats, now I should have a few more, maybe not. Maybe it needs time to process. Yeah, thank you, Steph. Yeah. So anyways, as they're working through the lessons, you're going to be able to see their statistics right there. So that is what it looks like for the student. I'm going to remember to go back and erase this progress that I did on the student so she can have a clean slate and not save my mistakes. But that's kind of what it looks like for kids. All right, so as the students are finishing their lessons, it is gonna give them a rating of stars, so they can earn up to 5 stars. And we want our kiddos to have obviously 5 stars on every lesson because they can still pass the lesson without getting the highest rating. So encourage them to continue repeating lessons until they can get that 5-star rating and maybe 100% accuracy with meeting that words per minute goal. So the lesson feedback does look a little bit like this, and it tells them actually like what was your percentage for your accuracy, what was your words per minute. So kind of as you're walking around monitoring, just kind of be checking that. For the teacher, you can see your stats for your students depending on how often your class is logging in, and that will be from your dashboard when you log into Typing Club. It'll also show you which keys are the most troublesome for students, so that's kind of nice. For as far as the students, they do have, I think on the Chromebook, if you're logged in on a Chromebook, they have these additional settings to change their font size and things like that, kind of personalize it a little bit. So if you have a wondering about why it looks different on some kiddos, they've just found this menu and started changing their settings. Nothing to worry about. All right, let's say it is the end of the lesson cycle, maybe if the 10 days for second or the 20th days for the 3rd through 5th, and it's time for the typing test. Once the test is available, when the kiddo logs in, they're going to see this More Test button, and that is where they're going to find their grade level test. The grade levels are different colors, so these are the assigned colors, and they will say 2nd grade or 3rd grade typing test. And those are the dates that they're going to be available. It is a 2-minute test, and they have basically a list of checks that they have to type through. So if they meet the test and they meet the goal, then they get to pass. As a teacher, let's say you finish the 10 days or the 22 days of lessons, but you would still like for them to keep practicing or learning other skills. The way that you can find other courses to assign or lessons to assign to them is when you are in your dashboard and you're looking at your class, there is a button that says lesson plans. When you click there, you can find the one that you're looking for. You can just browse the one. You can even type Spanish or type whatever punctuation, whatever you're looking for, and then just assign it to your class. And over here on the Spanish characters, we have some, if you're looking for the Spanish ones, you actually have to remove the English filter. For some reason, when you're searching for those lessons, that English filter is defaulted. And so if you X that little filter, then the Spanish ones appear. So just a tip. If you need any help with this part, then just reach out to your DLS. We are more than happy to help assign lessons for you, class. Okay, so the last thing is teacher access. How do you log into Typing Club? Well, if you are familiar with our staff portal, you can see that on the right-hand side, the very third link is called Digital Resources for Teachers. This is the way that you can access your digital resources. So I'm going to click here, and you can select your school, or you can just go down and find the resource that you're looking for. In this case, I'm just going to look for Typing Club. Now, because I'm a digital learning specialist and I'm not a classroom teacher, when I click on this button, it's not going to work for me. I'm going to get this uh-oh message, but I believe for you guys, it does sign you in automatically. So let me know if there's, or let your DLS know if there's any issues, but that's how you should be able to log in. You can also bookmark this page here, which is cfeisd.typingclub.com, and just sign in with Google. and that is how you'll be able to access your account. The one thing that I do want to mention is and actually I need to change this because we need to, yes. So if you, let's say you're a departmentalized, and in this example, I'll just say me and Stephanie. Let's say I'm gonna be the one that's gonna take on the keyboarding during my minutes. And I'll say, Stephanie, I'll take the 15 minutes out of this day. I'll do your class when they're with me. Well, I won't have access to her homeroom class in Typing Club. So I need to actually email my DLS, let them know, hi, I need access to so-and-so's homeroom class. Can you please add me as an instructor? Your DLS will be able to do this for you. It used to be that you guys were able to do it, but for some reason, Typing Club changed their permissions for the teacher rules. So now we have to do that for you. So just shoot us an email. We'll assign you as the teacher to the classes that you need. And then that way, when the kiddos are with you and you're doing the lessons, you can sign in and see their stats. And the homeroom teacher can still sign in and see their class too. So we'll change that in a bit. All right, so what does that dashboard look like? So we've got here, oh, whoops, sorry about that. Sorry, I hope I don't give anyone, no one has epilepsy here, hopefully. Okay, so the dashboard, when you click on your homeroom, it does have an overview of your class. It does show your students. Please keep an eye out for any strange enrollment issues. We've seen a couple today where a few handful of students out of some homeroom classes were archived for some reason, and they weren't showing up with the current grade level. They were showing last year's grade level. So if you see any weird things or if students aren't able to log in properly, let us know. We're troubleshooting that. We're submitting tickets to Typing Club. But that's how you can check your class and your scores. There's also the ability to have a scoreboard for your class. So if you wanted them to see their rankings, depending on their skills, you can turn that on or off for your class. And then you can also see the access to the report. So if you're interested in how they're doing, which key they're struggling with, all of that information is here. Other than that, I believe really the last thing we just ask is that please, if you can, make whatever time you can for it and then monitor them. This isn't really a time that you should be ignoring the kids. We want you to be kind of walking around, actively monitoring them, making sure that they're using the proper techniques and the postures. And then just have that mindset that these are skills that are 21st century skills. We need them in every aspect of their lives, even outside of the classroom. So hopefully we can make time to get this done, and it'll help you in the classroom in the long run because they'll be able to be more efficient. If you need some ideas on how to practice or remind kiddos to use their Typing Club skills, we've seen teachers, have them practice typing spelling lists, emailing the teacher, emailing the parent, and then just showing you how they can use those homeroom skills. And obviously publishing is kind of like the big thing. I know when I was in the classroom, if you were able to get through the writing process and you've checked all your, your checklists and you revise everything, you get to publish, with on Google Docs. So, I mean, it was a really big deal and they got to practice their Typing Club skills there. So at the end of the unit, the kiddos are able to get certificate of achievements. If you want to print them out or email them or save them as PDFs, you can. You actually, when we collect the data, we like to give out badges to campuses. We used to do where we give out badges to classes. But I think this year we're just going to focus if the grade levels met the goals and if the second through fifth grade grade levels met the goals, they can reach these 3 levels as a campus. So we might be delivering some fun badges for your campus if you guys are able to meet the goals. But other than that, I don't really want to keep you too long. Just a really last reminder that we'd like for the testing to be completed by the 17th of this month. Again, if you can't make that for some reason, just let your DLS know. We're very flexible. We're more than happy to work with you guys. And if you have any additional questions, Stephanie and I are going to be staying here to help. But other than that, we're going to be taking attendance in WebEx. Thank you. Somebody messaged me an additional name that's sitting there as well. So we can give you guys credit, but we're not going to keep you any longer. You guys have way too much to do. So we appreciate you guys being here with us and taking time to make keyboarding important. So as of now, I'm going to stop sharing and then answer some questions in the chat. Thanks, guys.